Session 3 of the Management Excellence Programme delivered by Skills for Careers tutors. This relates to workshop 3 of the Diploma in Management in partnership with the ILM qualification. The session started with a brief recap. Those of you who are on the qualification itself need to make sure you read through pages 24 to 47 of the workbook, completed assignment ML10 and continue to work on your ERR workbook. You then also need to make sure your personal development plan is being implemented, and if you conduct appraisals, make sure you brought them to the session that has taken place this week. The objectives for today's session are to help you understand the performance management process, to help you understand the importance of vision, objectives and key performance indicators, to explore your role in managing performance, and to look at how we can monitor performance against objectives and select methods to help improve performance where necessary. Unfortunately for trainers, often people don't pay proper attention to performance management, and if they did, then actually there would be less need for training courses such as this. But fortunately for us, people don't pay enough proper attention to it, and so it keeps us busy. We started the session by trying to define what we meant by performance management. During this part of the session, we looked at various definitions of performance management, talked about it being a systematic process, talked about it including a variety of different types of activities, and we talked about it being a combination of different strategies to improve performance. In essence, performance management is the process of proactively managing performance of both the organisation and the people that work within it. This session focuses more on the organisation, session 4 focuses more on people. And as you can see from the diagram below, the starting point is the ultimate goal and mission of the organisation, and then you have to ensure that you align everything to that as you progress through the performance management process. And we talked a lot about the benefits and pitfalls. You'll find in the handouts examples of some of the advantages and disadvantages of performance management. If done effectively, the benefits outweigh the pitfalls. Most performance management systems start with a company vision. Once you have that established, then you're able to actually create goals and objectives and formulate a business plan. From that business plan will come strategic KPIs or key performance indicators, and these things are explained a little bit later on in the slide presentation. Once you have your strategic KPIs, organisations will then often split those into different departmental areas. So you may have financial, customer service related, administrative KPIs broken down further into team goals, team KPIs, before individuals are set personal objectives. And these are covered throughout the presentation. It's critical for a business to have a vision that is shared with its employees. And we discussed what your vision was, and page 71 and page 72 of the workbook give you examples actually related to Disney and McDonald's, hence the reason they're on the slide in front of you now. And it's well worth reading pages 71 and 72 to improve your knowledge and understanding of examples of vision. The key to achieving a vision is to set clear aims, goals and objectives, and it's very much like building a house. You have to build it stage by stage, and quite often these early stages take longer than the actual final stages. So the actual foundations, the vision, the key goals and objectives, the business plan, these are like the foundations of the house, and getting those right from the start and then building up from there gives you a greater chance of success. We asked people to come up with an example of one of their own vision for the future for themselves, whether that's for the next 12 months, whether it's for a certain period of time, the next part of your life. It didn't really matter what, but we all sat down and tried to identify a vision of the future for ourselves that we could picture, and we looked at how we could then plan to achieve that. Critical part once you've established what your vision is how do you know if you're on track to achieve it? And this is where the way your organisation monitors performance comes in. And this is explained in detail on pages 85 and 86 of the handbook. So again, I would read through pages 85 and 86 and start to think about how your organisation actually monitors performance in order to help it achieve whatever its vision is. One of the key criteria often used by organisations is the setting of key performance indicators. And key performance indicators help you measure performance towards targets. And most organisations will have some form of key performance indicators that allow you to see whether you are on track or not. The golden rule really with key performance indicators is that they need to be at various different levels. So you might have them at a strategic level, so the board might have them. They need to be at an operational level, but then you also might need them at a tactical level as well, which is on a day-to-day basis. They should be within all parts of the business. They should definitely be easily measurable, and they should be based upon standards, budgets, benchmarks that exist. The benchmarks might be benchmarks from other organisations within your sector. It might be compared to previous year's performance. The standards could relate to various aspects of the business, such as service standards. And the key really is, once you have them, they need to be monitored and acted upon. Lots of reasons for having KPIs. Helps you monitor progress, it helps you identify problems, helps you focus employees or possibly motivate employees. It helps you promote the business if you're performing well, and it allows you to continually try to improve performance. Most KPIs relate to what we call business drivers, and business drivers are the key things that determine the success of your business. And a very well-known model for this is the balanced scorecard approach. And the balanced scorecard approach is where you split these business drivers into different areas such as financial, customer service, internal business processes, and then learning and development, which is related to people. And all these should feed in and link to the vision and strategy of the organisation. It's explained in detail on pages 89 and 90 of the workbook, and if you search online for the balanced scorecard approach, you'll find a lot of information about it. Essentially, these four areas are seen as critical areas for a business to succeed, and you set key performance indicators related to these. So you'll probably have service-related business drivers. So that could well be delivery times. So you may well say, for example, that one of your KPIs is products are always delivered within 48 hours. Financial might be related to profit, loss, to wastage costs, those sorts of things. An example on this slide, a good example on this side is Tesco's, and this is Tesco's set of business drivers, and theirs relate to these 5 areas: customer, finance, people, operations and community. So you can see it's slightly different to the traditional business scorecard approach, with the community bit being thrown in there as well, and some of the things and statements about what they try to achieve, and behind all that information will be key performance indicators. It's important that you identify what those business drivers are for your business, and in particular your area of responsibility. So if you specialise in one department within your organisation, what are the key drivers for that department? And a good question then, once you know what those drivers are, is to sit down and say, right, what smart key performance indicators can we have within our department that we can monitor and that we can measure? We finished the session by looking at a scenario, and in groups we worked through this little exercise to get you thinking about it and put you in the shoes of someone who just bought a business with an excellent track record, but has been losing customers over the last 12 months. And the task was to establish a business vision, to set goals and objectives, and try and identify some KPIs. And it's a useful little exercise to do on your own team or on your own department. And that was the end of the session. Homework related activities were highlighted at the start and will be sent via email to you separately. If you've got any further questions about key performance indicators or monitoring business performance, either refer to the work booklets which were provided in the session, or feel free to call our office on 01246 292 450 and ask for Chris. Thank you very much for listening.